Hello, I'm Ryan, and today we are going to unbox the Canon 5D Mark III. Now this is something that I've been working for a long time and very excited about seeing what's in it. So here we go. First of all, on the box we see that it's a 22.3 megapixel sensor, full frame sensor. We have our ISO range on images, still images, up to 25,600. On video, 12,800. Let's see, 61-point autofocus, and the viewfinder is actually 100%, which is pretty awesome because normally on a crop sensor you'll have it cut off and you don't actually get to see everything that the sensor's seeing. Has a bunch of software and stuff. Don't really care about the specs on that because I know my computer will work. Here we go. The Canon 5D Mark III. Ready for this? Alright, so I was seriously kind of expecting like a glowing light coming from the inside, maybe an angelic chorus as I opened it up. So I'm already a little disappointed. But let's move on. So what we have here, we have the extended warranty card from Canon. Just like any extended warranty, it's really just a good way to get extra money from you. Your insurance will cover this anyway, so don't worry about that. You have your regular warranty registration card. Now, unlike the extended warranty, this one I find a little important because if something goes wrong, let's say there's some defect in that line or something like that, and there's a recall, they'll notify you this way. It doesn't happen often with cameras. I've had it happen a few times with my Honda, but it's worth taking the time to fill it out because usually, just kidding. Usually there's a postage paid already thing, but you have to stamp it yourself. Oh well. Canon, I've given you all this money and you can't afford a stamp. That's alright. That's okay. Okay, so then we have the standard books here and software you'll see. I don't have a computer that actually has a optical disc drive anymore, so that disc won't do me much good. The manual, it's kind of cool having this nice little compact manual, but I'm going to download it on my iPad anyway. Then there is what looks like a Spanish manual. Once I finish my Spanish class, I will be able to read that, so I will hold on to this one. Opening up here. No. See, again, I was looking for that chorus and the light. Not even on the next layer. We'll continue anyway. So it comes with the standard neck strap. I never use this. I am a hand strap believer, I guess. There's a better word for it, but not today. Let's see. We have battery, standard battery. This is the, what's really cool about this is it is the black 2-prong battery that you find on the 70D, the 60D, the 6D, the 7D. So if you're looking to upgrade your camera and you have any of those models, it is the new Canon standard battery. So your batteries, it should actually even be your battery grip from your previous camera should transfer over and work on this as well. Let's see, we have a little eye cup there for your viewfinder. So you can do one of two things. You can put it on the camera and use it like that, or you can put a black piece of electrical tape or something on there and actually just tape it over your eye like this and go to the pirate fair, and that should be sufficient. You have your AV cable, so this is your AV to your USB port on the computer. This will plug in there, and then you can plug this into if your TV still has your audio video RCA cables. I haven't really used these since my old Nintendo, but if you have that, you'll be able to use that. You also have your Canon battery charger. This is the standard one, and again, if you have any of those old cameras I mentioned earlier, it'll fit and this will just add to your collection. There's absolutely no reason why you can't have a charger in every room, so when you're preparing for a shoot, you'll be able to charge all your batteries simultaneously. What I do like about this is Canon has moved away from having the little extra cord that goes in there. So this just pops out like this, and then you just plug it into the wall. Why I like that? It does have its upsides and its downsides. The downside being is if your outlet or your power strip or whatever is pretty compressed because you have a bunch of things plugged into it, this is a little awkward to deal with. The positive side is it fits very nicely in your camera case and anything like that without having that extra cord to deal with. So it just folds in, slides in nicely, pops out, plug it in, and you're good to go. What else do we have in here? We have a standard USB to mini USB, not micro, which is the new standard, but USB to mini USB cable. If you, for some reason, don't have a card reader on your camera, this will be really good to get those images across. Also, the Canon software, which is on this disc right here, which I can't load on my computer, the Canon software which can control your camera, change different settings, you can do remote shooting and all that fun stuff, that will attach with this cable to your new camera. Now, the exciting part. I swear, we're on the third layer now. If we don't have a glowing light and angelic chorus by this, I may actually just return this camera. I'm not sure. We'll see. So we pull it out, and it is well wrapped, much like the Beastie Boys. Get it? Because it's alright. Nice little cottony protection there. And we have, oh, this is so nice. It feels so solid. The weight of it is perfect. It's smooth on your skin. It's lovely. You see here, feel. So on Willy Wonka, we learned in the Mike TV scene that you could actually take it through the screen. And I wish that were true. I would love to share this with you, but you're gonna have to get your own. So you take your eye cup here, and if you did not make a eye patch out of it for Pirate Day, like I mentioned earlier, you can take this and snap it right on top, and that's good to go. So what you have here is the, on the back is the, and I don't remember what it's called, I call it the optical viewfinder thingy dial. So with the optical viewfinder thingy dial, what that does, it's the find focus for your eyepiece, for your viewfinder right there. And that just changes the lens, so if you don't have 20/20 vision, you can kind of adjust that to your eyes specifically, which is kind of nice. And you do that by looking through the viewfinder with the camera turned on, of course, and you have these little dots that come across there, and you just turn this until those dots are in focus for your eye, and then you're good to go. You have your on and off button, very important. Your dial here, you have your automatic, your program, your TV, which is your shutter priority, your AV, which is your aperture priority, manual mode, B, which is bulb mode, which is really cool, which means you can hold the shutter open as long as you want. You're not limited to the 30 seconds or so that you get with a lot of the other Canon cameras. You have C1, C2, and C3, which are your custom settings. I really like that about this camera is you can actually set your custom and not go through the menu, just a quick dial, just a quick snap of the dial. You also have your menu button, obvious what that is, your info button, this little pen paper thing, I don't quite know what that is. I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. You have a rate button. Now, something I learned about this using another 5D3 is this rate button. You know, you can set it to rate your images as you're shooting, and you want to do that if you want to do that on camera instead of Lightroom or whatever you use to edit. But you can also in the menu change that rate button to be your protect button. So you can set it, instead of going through the 5-step program to menu, protect, choose, yes, lock, and locking your images that way, you can actually set it up so it's just that rate button, protect, yes, and then move on to the next image. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal to be able to save 4 or 5 steps, but when you have 1,000 images that you're shooting and you're wanting to save maybe 100, 150 of them, whatever, it's going to become very, very important. You have your magnifying glass, which is your zoom into your picture, your play button to play back your last image, and your trash can button. On the back, you also have your switch to manually switch between still and video mode. Your start stop, so if you're in video, that'll start your video. If you're in still mode, then that will actually activate your live viewfinder, so you can use that. And if this is your first DSLR for some reason, number one, great choice starting with such a monster beast like this. You'll never be able to go back to anything else, though. That's the downside. But when you're using the live view, the processor, because you do have a little computer going on in here, the processor of the camera's computer has a very hard time keeping up with what's going on here and saving your large image files. So if you're shooting in RAW, especially in shooting in RAW, you'll notice that you're not able to take as many pictures one right after the other, or as fast as you would if you were using your eye viewfinder as opposed to the, I know this is called something else, I can't think of the name, as opposed to the video viewfinder. And that's just because that processor's having to save the images, record, save the images, do your autofocus and all that processing still, and control your little display here. So if you find that your shooting is a lot slower than you thought it should be, then hit that little button, switch back, and use your eyepiece, and you'll notice you'll be able to take pictures one right after the other. You also have your little toggle dial here, which I found is kind of awkward to work with. It's a little bit better than the button one that's on the dial on other cameras, but it is kind of stiff and awkward. If I were playing Mario Brothers with this, I would be really upset. You have your Q button, which you're able to program to do various functions, and then your dial here, which does control different things. I normally shoot in manual mode, and so I use this dial to control the aperture. Set button right in the middle. It's like your enter button on pretty much anything else. You have your lock and unlock switch. That's important to know that it's there. Most people don't actually use that, but if you lock that by accident, and for some reason, and you realize that, hey, I cannot change my aperture at all, I have no idea what's going on here, more than likely you probably just bumped this and locked it into place. And it still allows the wheel to move when it's locked. However, your numbers don't change, and so it'll seem like you've lost control of your camera. So it's just the lock that needs to go back in. Let's see. You have a lot of your other standard functions here. Here's your lens release, another customizable programmable button that's right here. You only have one microphone, which is interesting. A lot of the mid-range Canon cameras have dual stereo microphones, but I guess the idea is with a pro camera like this, you're probably going to be using pro audio, and I think that's the purpose of not having that function. And it's the same thing with not having the rotating display for the viewfinder that you do see on a lot of the mid-level Canon cameras. The idea is that they're putting the money and the resources into the important things of the camera, and so the extra features like Wi-Fi, like a rotating screen, like stereo on here, things that are often going to not be used, they're doing away with that. Much like when cars, from the 70s to like the mid 80s and before, in the 70s and 60s and all that, they had less features going on, and then these car computers started controlling more and more things. First your windows, your air conditioning, your GPS and your radio and all that. So the more features that are added, the more things that can go wrong with it. And with a precision instrument like this, we leave off the frivolities and we're able to focus on the important things, and so less things will go wrong, because this is your workhorse. I do want to mention here on our ports, we have these little tabs here, and we have our microphone in port. We were just talking about the sound, and that is a 3.5mm jack right there, stereo jack. The Rode microphone, which is pretty industry standard, does come with 3.5mm jack, and it also comes with an XLR jack. So if you were to choose one or the other, I'd go with a 3.5mm. There's also the flash sync, and again, I know this has a different name, but I'm kind of flaking on my names today. This will plug directly into your strobe, not your pop-up flash. Thankfully, this doesn't have one, but this will plug into your pop-up strobe and allow you to sync that up with the camera. And interesting. The remote shutter, if you like to use one of those, I prefer the wired over the wireless. I hate running out of batteries when I think I have them. It is a little bit different. The previous, now I don't know about the 5D2, but all of those other camera bodies I mentioned, 7D, 70D, T3, T4, T5, all the I series, those all had an eighth inch, no, actually a 2.5mm plug for your remote shutter. This one has this weird proprietary three-prong plug. So you might have to update your remote shutter if you're going to use that. It's still definitely worth doing. You can get it $20 on Amazon or so. But it's a great feature. But just be prepared; it is a little bit different. Under this second tab, you have your headphones out if you want to monitor your audio. You have your USB out, which also does, if you remember, the AV cables, so you can unplug your Nintendo and then plug that into your TV. And then a mini HDMI, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, the package doesn't come with it. This is just the body-only package, but it doesn't come with that mini HDMI cable. But that would give you a higher resolution view, of course, if you're showing this off or if you're wanting to use it for a photo booth setup. The other reason you would use that is if you wanted to do an off-camera monitor too. So yeah, so that's it. Everything else is pretty standard on this. It is a great camera. I actually have used it before. I cannot wait to start using this one, my brand new one, which I love and hug and squeeze and call it George. So thanks for watching.